Hello, and welcome to a brand new episode of the podcast entitled Couch Potatoes Unite! This is a podcast based on a blog of the same name because we're not an anthology series. We're more like a regular series that doesn't change its name, and we're not trying to remain shrouded in mystery like some infamous legendary lost colony. So there. My name is Kylie, and I love TV. If you feel the same, keep listening and or checking out the blog at couchpotatoesunite.wordpress.com, as you're bound to find some common ground or something you like. For Couch Potatoes Unite, we're all about the wonders and unique long-form storytelling of the small screen. CPU, ! Wishes you rest from the heat, whatever heat that might be, and hopes you've been following releases of brand new episodes of the podcast on Wednesdays, as well as new blog entries on some Tuesdays, and as always, we have several more new episodes on the way. Because the panelists and I live lives behind our podcast, the episodes are published once per week. Subscribe to the blog or the podcast via iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and via Google Play to stay on top of brand new episodes. Episodes already published discuss a variety of shows around the water cooler, including, but not limited to, Game of Thrones, Stranger Things, Grimm, and the Marvel's Netflix series, including Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist. A bevy of new episodes are in the works, including revisits for How to Get Away with Murder, Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, The Fuller House series, New Girl, Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Gotham, Supernatural, The 100, Once Upon a Time, Doctor Who, Orange is the New Black, The Originals, and the DCTU series panel covering Arrow, Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, and Supergirl, with an episode for each show. A final visit with our Vampire Diaries panel to say goodbye to the long-running and ending series in a two-part episode. A final visit with our Broadchurch panel to say goodbye to the mystery drama from across the pond. We'll be launching a new panel covering Lemony Snicket's unfortunate events, a new series anniversary retrospective about the Buffyverse covering Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Angel, and because we also look back at shows now past, we'll be looking back at Marvel's Agent Carter and Sense8. The latter in a two-part series, since it just got canceled. What's more, CPU from time to time goes live. We've appeared at Comedy Outlet Mondays at Dog Story Theater and at Grand Rapids Comic-Con in Grand Rapids, Michigan, while streaming live on Facebook. More live appearances are being planned, so make sure you like us at our Facebook page, our Twitter, follow us at CPU Podcast, our Instagram at Couch Potatoes Unite, and or our Pinterest at CPU Podcast, or subscribe to the blog, our YouTube channel, our iTunes channel, our Stitcher Radio channel, or find us on Google Play. In the meantime, if you don't hear your show in this podcast format, fellow panelists and I still write reviews. We're always seeking new panelists, so if you have any interest in joining the discussion, say hello by finding us at any of those outlets I've mentioned. At the very least, stop by and leave a thumbs up, comment, or review. We like feedback, except keep your cleavers at home. No butchering here, please. Today we are around the water cooler as a continuation of an ongoing CPU podcast series. This series does not have a fixed number of episodes like other series we do. Rather, it is ongoing, as the show is still on the air. However, we've covered it over multiple episodes because it is an anthology series, and actually the first of its kind in recent years. Welcome to the 6th episode of our American Horror Story series. In this series, we've already discussed seasons 1, which is Murder House, 2, Asylum, 3, Coven, 4, Freak Show, and 5, Hotel. Today, we move to the 6th season, officially subtitled Roanoke. Described as an anthology series, each season of American Horror Story is conceived as a self-contained miniseries, following a disparate set of characters and settings, and a storyline with its own beginning, middle, and end. Some plot elements are loosely inspired by true events. The 6th season, subtitled Roanoke, takes place in Roanoke Island, North Carolina during the year 2016 and focuses on the paranormal events that take place at an isolated farmhouse. In 2015, Shelby Miller, played by Lily Rabe, her husband Matt Miller, played by Andre Holland, and Matt's sister Lee Harris, played by Adina Porter, appear on a documentary called My Roanoke Nightmare to recount a series of supernatural events that happened to them after Shelby and Matt relocate from Los Angeles to North Carolina following Shelby's miscarriage. During their stay at the house, the family has a terrifying experience, as their house is on the land where the legendary lost Roanoke colony moved after its famous disappearance, led by a witch named Scathatch and Thomason White, known as the Butcher, and her insane crew. Audrey Tyndall, played by Sarah Paulson, is the actress who portrays Shelby during the reenactment sections of My Roanoke Nightmare, while Dominic Banks, Cuba Gooding Jr., and Monet Tumasime, played by Angela Bassett, portray Matt and Lee, respectively. The Butcher is played by Agnes Mary Winstead, played by Kathy Bates, her son Ambrose White by Dylan, played by Wes Bentley, and the founder of the house, Edward Philippe Mott, by Rory Monahan, played by Evan Peters. Elias Cunningham, the previous owner of the house, is portrayed by William Van Henderson, who is portrayed by Dennis O'Hare, and Scat Hatch by an unknown actress who is known to all of us as Lady Gaga. Later, in 2016, after the huge success of My Roanoke Nightmare, the producer of the series, Sydney Aaron James, played by Cheyenne Jackson, decides to give life to a second season of the series, entitling it Return to Roanoke, 3 Days in Hell, bringing back to the house the Millers and the actors who reenacted the experiences of the family. During the 3 days in question, everyone pretty much dies, spoiler, under mysterious circumstances, except for one. The season takes place primarily throughout 2015 and 2016, with dramatized flashbacks via the My Roanoke Nightmare documentary to the 1500s, 1700s, and 1990s, and with an epilogue taking place in the not-so-distant near future. As we sit around the water cooler for our American Horror Story series of podcast episodes, we've also introduced another new development to the CPU structure. You might already know that from time to time, some familiar voices have taken the moderating reins to give yours truly, that's me, a break, or a chance to be an ordinary panelist where appropriate. As such, for this series, we decided to rotate moderators, and for today's episode, Sarah, who last moderated the Coven episode, returns to the moderating mic to talk all things Roanoke with Nick and me, as well as two new panelists, as we've decided to open our AHS panel a bit wider since American Horror Story was renewed for a 7th, 8th, and 9th season. Without further ado, then, I'd like to introduce Sarah as today's moderator. Take it away again, Sarah.
Thank you. Hello.
Hi.
So, we're going to go with our usual process here. We're going to go around. Everyone's going to say their first name only, and you're going to say how you came to start watching American Horror Story, and then you're going to rank yourself as one of the following character breakdowns, and I will read them aloud to you now. Did you watch Season 6? Out of some desperate sense of stick-to-itness, much like Shelby's resignation to stay on the farm even though evil was everywhere. Were you a reluctant viewer with a skeptical eye for the paranormal, like Lee, but over the course of the season you changed your views and recognized this season as a true horror masterpiece? Did you feel forced to watch this season, perhaps compelled by a strange spirit or podcast obligations, much the way Matt Miller was forced to stay in the house and also copulate with a weird ghost? ...
Wow.
Right? Did you watch Season 6 because you love gore and horror and were completely along for the bloody evil ride, like The Butcher? Were you a completely innocent bystander in this entire thing? You wandered into this season and had no idea what was happening or why, like Flora? Did you enjoy this season because you love the sensationalistic aspect of reality television, like Sydney and his crew? Did you watch this season with one expectation and feel completely confused and disappointed, or terrified, when it turned out to be something else entirely, like Audrey, Rory, Dominic, and Monet? Or are you the Witch of the Wood, also known as Scathach?
Oh, is that how you say it?
Yeah, I think so. But IMDb has her listed as the Witch of the Wood.
Okay.
But then all of the other things I find call her Scathach.
Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah.
I don't think they ever say it, but are you her? Because if you're her, you need to leave my house. Because I'm not even playing. If you try to get on my husband, we're done. So
That was my answer.
So let's go around and...
I'll start, as I'm her husband.
He says with some reluctance.
My name's Nick.
Hi, Nick.
Hi, Nick.
Hi, Nick.
And I feel like there's only two options if you liked the show. So I'll
Well,
pick one of
how
them.
did you come to watch? Remind us how you came to watch.
Oh, I don't remember. I like horror type stuff.
All right.
So I gave this a try. I don't even remember when. I feel like many seasons were already out by the time I watched. And I was always a season behind because I waited till Netflix. Until we started podcasting. I guess I'm the butcher, even though I don't need the gore. I like thriller and suspense as well.
Welcome, Butcher.
Thanks.
That's disturbing.
What was the other option? That liked it. I didn't wander into it, so...
Well, you could be Lee. You were a little reluctant. You had kind of a skeptical eye at first, but then you changed your view and you recognized it as a true horror masterpiece.
But I wasn't reluctant. I'll stick with the butcher.
Well, I mentioned I'm Kylie.
Hi, Kylie.
Hi! And as I think I said in our first episode, I actually wasn't going to watch American Horror Story. Horror is not really my thing, but a lot of people, and I probably was doing a show at at the time on the theater, the stage, a lot of people came to me and said, "Oh my God, have you watched American Horror Story? It's the greatest ever. You should watch it." And I'm like, but I don't like horror. I don't want to watch it. And yet somehow they were compelling enough to convince me to do it. And then I caught up. It was in the Murder House season, and I watched it. And I'm still here today. It's really surprising to me.
Yeah.
Even as I sit here. The whole colonial piece, I didn't know that it was a reality TV show situation and was completely surprised by it. So when I sat there and watched it, I was like, what is it? What? What am I watching? Right. Yes. So, but I got through it. I got it and eventually enjoyed it. Yeah. Okay. But we'll get to that.
Hi, I'm Kallie.
Hi, Kallie.
Jeez, okay.
This is Callie's first podcast with us.
Hooray.
But she's part of the podcast family because she's...
Oh, yeah, we do the dynamics.
She is related to Kylie and Hillary and Kyle.
That's
Yeah,
true. She's
I
all of
am.
our sister-in-law. She's married to the brother that won't come on the podcast.
No, he won't. Let's see, where do I start? How I started watching.
Yeah?
One day it just kind of magically appeared on Netflix, and I was like, what's this guy? And it was like I was bored and couldn't find anything else to watch, and
I bet Scathach put it on there.
Austin was off doing something else, and I was like, I'm going to watch that show. And I started watching, and that was, the first season, and I loved it, and just kept watching. I'm all of the good ones put together, I guess.
Oh.
I'm Scathach.
Is that a good one?
I don't even know. I couldn't pick because, I had no spoilers either going into it, and I had no idea what to expect. And I am on the American Horror Story train. I love almost every single season, so I was just like, yeah, let's do this. Scathach.
I think she just wants to be the witch.
Somebody's going to comment like, you're all saying that wrong. You know somebody's going to be like,
That's fine. Please comment
Please comment.
with an audio recording of how you say
Yes.
it properly.
Yeah.
Because I have no idea.
I like ours better.
So, Kallie, you're kind of like the butcher, or
You like all
Yes.
the horror and stuff?
Yes.
not
I do.
like Sydney
Yeah.
and his crew? Do you like reality type
I
of stuff?
do.
Because I know. Okay.
I'm a big
Spoiler, I knew she did. That's why I was leading.
Yeah, big documentary fan.
Yeah.
Big horror fan.
I definitely, like Nick and Callie, I'm kind of a combination of all the good.
It's Sarah's face.
I definitely am Lee and the Butcher because this season was one of those seasons that they didn't do a lot of promo for. Like, they talked about it and they did all of those little videos, but nobody really knew what was actually going to happen when this season aired. So after watching the first episode in my dorm room with one of my best friends, we were like, this is amazing. This is so cool. And then I really did enjoy some of these seasons and others not so much. I know that you guys have already talked about Coven. That's like the bottom of my list.
Oh.
Why are you at my house?
There's controversy already.
Well, we will have a chance later to rank the different seasons.
Okay.
Remember.
Nick!
But my roommate and I, we sat down to watch this season and absolutely loved it. I think I watched every episode the night it aired because in my dorm room I didn't have a DVR. I just had my television. So we'd race back from the theater and be like, we have to watch American Horror Story tonight. So I really enjoyed this season. And I would definitely say I'm like a combination of Lee and the Butcher and Sydney and his crew. Probably a little Flora just because of the way they did advertise this season.
Wow, I'm being really lax letting you guys pick more than one.
It happens
Oh,
a lot.
you judge like him. Well, welcome, Emily.
Hello, Emily.
I'll repeat that you were just on the 13 Reasons Why panel.
And
just in
Glee.
case.
Yeah.
And Glee.
And Glee. And I do Once Upon a Time.
You do.
Yep.
Gross.
Those are my five. Oh.
Stop that!
What? I don't like
There
Once
are,
Upon a Time.
there are people who do.
I think people
Like
need
a
to
whole
know.
panel.
Anyway, I'm Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi. And I started watching this show just to give you a refresh because my husband was watching it, and I was like, what is this? And he was like, you will not like this. This is scary for you. And so when he was watching Asylum, I would literally leave the room when it was on. But then he started Coven, and I was like, ooh, I will watch this. And then I went back and rewatched all of them. This season was Matt Miller. I felt forced to watch this season.
I can't imagine that.
I
You
felt
would've chosen
compelled by
Absolutely.
a strange spirit or podcast obligations. And I felt
She
like
makes
I was...
it sound like I'm a slave driver. I'm not.
Well, when you're moderating something, you have to watch it. That's one of the rules of Couch Potatoes. I did not copulate with a weird ghost. But when I was watching this, I'm not gonna lie. I could equate it to that. I don't know.
To copulating with a weird ghost?
I don't know. Well, he seemed to like that though.
Oh,
so I don't
okay.
know. So that's where I am.
That's
Really weird.
I also was a little bit of Shelby for this. Like, I had some sense of stick-to-itness, and I knew that I had to watch it, so I might as well just, like, finish it and stuff.
It's over with,
So
is what
that's-
she means.
Yeah.
That is the subtext.
Welcome, panel. I'm going to go over some talking points. Let's just jump right in.
I just want to say I'm excited that there's more people on the panel.
Yeah.
Because being 1/3 of a panel about it to talking about a horror TV show, and the other two people not really liking horror was interesting.
Because you
So I'm-
felt like you were maybe probably being attacked a little bit, huh?
not necessarily, but there's
never attack Nick.
but some of the reasons, as we talked, that Sarah doesn't like the season, I feel like are standard horror tropes.
To be fair to me, though, there have been other show panels that I'm on where I'm like, I did not like this business. But all of these so far, up until this season, I didn't outwardly dislike.
Well, and what's really weird is that Sarah will not watch Jessica Jones because she thinks it's too gory.
That show's gross. And I don't need to see David Tennant harassing
But she still
people.
watches this show.
I'm just going to say it. I don't need it. I don't like what... Anyway, that's
I
another...
think maybe the suggestiveness of that. This one's in your face. What? Okay, that's a Jessica Jones
so this
podcast.
season, for the first time, there was no subtitle released for this season. So instead, they did this series of teasers, causing widespread speculation about the theme. Did you guys, when you watched the teasers, have a guess? Was your guess correct?
I
No.
didn't see any.
I think
I
there.
did not see any.
You didn't see any of the even
No.
just a little...
Nope.
Okay.
I went in totally, completely, 100% blind.
Okay.
Roanoke was on the list of big speculations. Another was a cruise ship. Another was the school that the shooting from season 1 took place in.
Yeah.
So I wasn't surprised that it was Roanoke, and I think one of the few things that leaked was a picture of people in, like, old-timey clothes and bonnets. So
Yeah.
I was expecting, but also hoping that it wasn't 100% in Roanoke. I am almost shocked at how little it actually took place in the Roanoke colony as we were watching it. Like, it was modern day, where the Roanoke was seeping into modern day. And even when it did, it was mostly a reenactment, so who knows how much of that was accurate. I don't know if accurate's the right word when it's fiction to begin with.
I agree with that. I don't think I watched any of the teasers, but I did see the stills with the colonial garb.
I have listed right now all the ways that they were linked, but did you guys notice? It seems like some of you didn't notice some of those tie-ins. There was one link to at least every season.
The big link that I noticed was Evan Peters' character, Mott.
Word Mott.
Yep, because that was, what's his face's name in
Dandy.
Circus.
Oh.
Yep, it was Dandy Mott. That was the big one
Oh,
that when they
yeah.
said that. I
And
was
they
like,
said
oh.
Florida's where his line ended.
His
Yeah.
last person, and madness ran through the whole line. Yep.
Yep,
Oh,
that
I
was the
missed
big
that
one
one.
that I
Well,
noticed.
season 1, the big link is just mentioning Roanoke. I mean, season 1 mentioned Roanoke.
Yeah.
And Piggy
Oh,
was
yeah.
season
Oh,
1.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The piggy man.
Yeah.
And they have said, sometimes I feel like it's not as explicit, and then Ryan Murphy comes back and says, well, this is it. But he doesn't, like, explicitly say, but he said that the Piggy Man, that's where that legend came from.
Roanoke colony.
He's the inspiration for the Piggy Man urban legend featured in Piggy Piggy.
Okay.
But that was it after Roanoke, but on the same? Did Piggy happen during Roanoke times or after, during a blood moon cycle?
During Roanoke. He was a colonist. He deserted
Okay.
the Roanoke colony, but he stole provisions from them first.
Okay.
And they said that in there.
Was the murderer? This is a question.
Was the what?
Was Mr. Piggy a murderer?
No. Scathatch found him and sculpted him, and then they found him and turned him into a pig and roasted him.
That's
and
what
then
I- one of the hillbillies
Yes.
took that legend
It's all-
to Chicago when he took the pigs to slaughter and wore the pig head to kill
Yes,
people.
that's right. Yes.
That's what I was
remember.
thinking of. That was
Yes.
after the colony. Because I'm like, I know they mentioned the stockyards, and I don't think the Chicago stockyards happened during colonial times.
When I heard the Mott name, I was really kind of circling, like, where have I heard that before? But I never connected it back to Freak Show.
I heard it right away, but I had to think through it then. Like,
Because they said Florida.
they said he retired, or the
I don't know
line
if they
ended
said
in.
Jupiter. They just
They just said
They
it.
didn't
The
say
line
Jupiter.
ended
If
in
they had
Florida.
said Jupiter, I'd have gotten it.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
how many things happen in Jupiter?
It's hard for me to put them big things together like that, just because I feel like I watch them so far apart from each other that it's like
Same.
I'm not.
I don't-
unless I
Is-
really went back.
Is there a better connection to season 3 other than the sorcery that's in it?
Ryan Murphy has said that Scathatch, whatever her name is the first Supreme. And so
Yeah.
all the Coven descended from her line.
Okay.
Oh.
Now, there is some controversy there.
Yeah, because I thought they were Salem witches.
I mean, I'm just reading what I read in my research
And
that I
Salem
did.
is
after
far
or
away
before?
from Roanoke. Roanoke
What's
was first.
Maybe one of her ancestors went to
Salem,
Salem.
Maybe.
and then they
Yeah.
just
So they're all
ended
linked
up
there?
The other controversy is that is she still alive? Because there can only be one living Supreme. So if she's the first Supreme,
Oh, she's dead.
how have other Supremes descended? This is just a controversy people are having. So,
Yeah.
thoughts? Do you buy it? Do you hate it? What do you...
I don't think she's alive.
No,
I get the
no.
general sense that all of the Roanoke
We're all
related.
ghosts.
We're all ghosts or whatever they are.
Including-
Like Murder
blood,
House.
mood, spirit,
Yeah.
whatever. That's
I thought they
agree.
were connecting it to Murder House because remember how they said the house was a dark energy spot, and then they said the same thing about the land
Yeah.
that the
Yeah.
farmhouse was on.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's where I caught that one.
I want to go back to that, but what's the hotel connection?
Good question.
I'm going.
Other than there's
I'm
the
going.
witch
Going.
in
So-
season 5.
And Lady Gaga.
and it's Lady Gaga.
The actor
That's
doesn't
it.
count.
Oh, it's right here.
I mean, we didn't say this connection to season 2, but I think that was the most obvious connection.
So
Was
the
Lana
connection
Banana,
to
Lana
season...
Banana.
Yeah.
I think one of the reasons that I like the reality TV aspect to it is because the theme itself was so similar to season 1 already. It was basically a haunted,
Right.
cursed land, and that's similar. But I did not mind it at all. But
I
and they
really
took a different aspect to it.
I liked that. I really
I
liked.
did too.
I felt, and everybody who does that is it's everybody's. Oh, it's a Blair Witch rip-offy or whatever. I don't mind, and I didn't know that I wanted it. That I was like craving something like that until I saw it, and I was like, "Ooh, this is good. I like this."
Well, and that's the parts of Hotel I liked the most was the story of the hauntings rather than the vampires.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
beyond, they really didn't air things that the History Channel wouldn't air gore wise.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're trying to get new people in that mystery of what the theme is. It seemed like it was trying to bring in new viewers,
Yeah.
Could be.
Which was really cool. I thought that was really awesome.
but then it gets real gory.
And then, and then it's like, well, I mean, that's the difference. This is a reenactment. This one's in the
Real,
reality,
yeah.
real. And it made they were just so different, and it was so good. And the one where in the reenactment, this is one of the coolest things I think I've seen the whole show, was when Evan Peters was walking down the hall. Did you guys notice when he would turn? He had a lantern, and he would turn, and it would like reflect like bone and whatever
Yeah.
they did there was sweet.
Yeah, I thought so,
Loved
too.
it.
The tie-in to season 5 is the worst tie-in. That's probably why I didn't write it down. But it says that the hotel and this season both follow the rules set up in Murder House, where if you die there, you're trapped there. So that's
So it's not okay.
it's not really. And then it mentions Billy, what's her name? Billy Dean appeared and mentioned she was filming something, and she mentioned Roanoke earlier, so that ties in to 1 and 5.
Did they
I
did
don't-
show Sarah Paulson? I know
As
they're
Billy Dean?
No, they showed her in season 5,
Right.
and
Right.
she mentions that she's filming something, a Lifetime something. So that crosses over to the first season, and then in the first season she mentioned Roanoke. So that's how they're trying to tie all three of
Oh,
those
I
in.
see.
It's not.
it doesn't really tie into
It's
season
shade.
5.
Well, I don't know what you want me to
That's
do
a
about
lot
it.
of math. That's
Yeah.
a lot of math.
Yeah.
So while I was looking that up, I was listening to you. So I'm hearing some good. You guys all seem to like it. So my overall impressions.
Uh-oh.
We're all giving it a thumb.
I really liked it.
I
really liked it,
too.
If you break it down, though, it's a shorter season. It's only 10 episodes. Not the last one isn't awesome.
It's weaker.
And because the first 5 are this reality show, it felt a lot slower to build up. I liked the first 5 episodes. I loved the next 4. And then the last one we can discuss when we get towards the end of the discussion.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Ranking this season amongst the others is going to be difficult, but I can definitely say overall, I enjoyed watching it. I feel like it'll take rewatching to realize, okay, this is what I liked not as much, and this is what I liked more than the others. It's a difficult season when you think back. If half of it is a reenactment, we don't know how much is true to this world. And then the second half, at least while you're watching it the first time, you don't know which scares were set up and which ones are.
That's why I think it was so brilliant. It
Me
was
too.
just all of that stuff, because it reminded me of watching like one of those untold stories of the ER kind of things. Where you're like, okay, is this real? Like, what's really happening? So that's where I thought some of the brilliance was really coming in, was because there was still so much mystery to it. You thought you were watching the whole story and you thought you were getting everything, but then when you think about it, you're like, oh, was that even like real? What was going on there? So that's why I thought it was really awesome.
Well, and it's the opposite of what season 3 did at the end, where witches are real, everyone knows about it, and then at the end of this one, watching season 1, you don't know if these people are lying or crazy. Season 1 of my Roanoke story. Then watching season 2 of it, even with all the murders, a lot of them were the Kathy Bates and Lee, and you see that it's them.
Right.
So it's, or Lily Rabe's character kills her husband and herself. Like, those weren't supernatural deaths. So it's really easy for viewers of all of this live footage, even if you could watch all the cameras, to say, oh yeah, definitively this curse is real. It made it so the people who came back, like the ghost facers or whatever the heck they're called in this show, like, they weren't crazy, in my opinion, because this seems like a fake thing. It seems like you're visiting a set.
I have to agree with Nick and Emily. The reason why I like this one so much is because there were layers to it. Like, I was sitting there trying to think through, like, what am I watching? And then the most brilliant kind of axis point on the season was Kathy Bates' turn of character, from the butcher to the woman flaying the butcher, back to a schizophrenic version of the butcher, you know? And then you see the real butcher, who doesn't ever talk, and she's even more frightening than Kathy Bates.
I know. I was trying to figure out if it was, I don't know where you were with that, but I was like, is she being possessed by her?
I thought that.
Yeah.
Or, I did.
Like, what's happening? Or is she just crazy? Like,
I went back and forth with that, and I
Yeah.
feel like I ended, she wasn't possessed.
Yeah.
Even though then a different character was, I forget his name, the husband that moved in to the house.
Matt?
Yeah. Like, he seemed drawn. Because that was one of Sarah's complaints, was why would they come back? And I feel like Matt
And
coming
stay
back
there. Yeah, why would they come
is
back and stay
explained
there? Right.
by being possessed and drawn to the house.
He was
By the
drawn by
witch.
the witch.
Mhm.
And, then,
And it's why Lily Rabe's character cheated on him, is he was already mentally separate from her, and their relationship was...
and maybe the butcher...
Sarah's
she's
making
like,
horrible
no.
faces.
And maybe she was possessed, but then, the butcher... And right through the...
That was like chop that she just did. They can't see you.
What they only... I think they didn't show enough of is the people who died during this season.
So maybe because they're not showing everybody else that's died in the house coming back, it's because they're trying to show us that they're all psychotic and have psychosis and just convince themselves that this is all happening and it's not real.
Well, we do see one other character come back. I think she was a PA, personal assistant. The one who left because somebody died on set.
Yeah.
Right, the one that was in the car.
Yeah.
Yes.
At which point, the piggy man jumped out, and I went, "Oh God!"
Well, and that confused me, because when she died, there was text on the screen saying they didn't discover her body for 3 months, but then those other people found her, and then
they
were
came
being
back and she was
interviewed.
gone,
Yeah,
and then she was running through the woods. Remember, she ran after them, saying, "Help me" or something. Yeah, so she did come back.
So I feel like we definitely know they're not just psychotic. There is stuff happening.
there.
Yeah.
So I don't know why they didn't bring others back. Except to say most of the people who died were played by actors, what we saw originally. So there wasn't really time to bring them back. Like, by the time Kathy Bates died, there wasn't time to like have
Yeah,
her walking
it-
around
and it was-
murdering people as a ghost.
Because there was only 3 episodes.
Right.
Really, right? Is that right?
There's
3
4 episodes of
yeah.
season 2,
Three
but it's like
3.5.
planning it and getting them in there.
Yeah.
So before people started dying, unless you count the crew person, the unnamed crew person.
And my question would be, even if it was their psychosis, like, how did that ball get rolling? Like, where would that psychosis have come from? That suggestion was that strong?
The hillbillies
Yeah.
tormenting
Well, they are
them.
frightening.
Yeah, they are.
They are the most frightening. I'm not too keen on cannibals. I do
Neither
want to
am
say.
I.
What did they remind you of?
Oh, Home.
This is
Yes.
So if anybody's an X-Files fan, there's a pretty infamous episode of X-Files called Home. It's about this inbred family who believes they should just breed with their mother.
That's what they were doing, weren't
Yeah.
they?
Yeah. And she like lived on a cart under a table and was like,
She didn't have arms and
foreign.
legs.
and I was like, Nick, this is Home. Like the little feral boy suckling on the pig,
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
that's what
I know.
happened in this X-Files episode. I'm like, hello.
It was real similar. They weren't. I don't think they went far enough as far in X Files to have them be cannibals, but they were incestuous.
Yeah.
The real ones rather than the reenactment.
Again, the real one, like
I
the first
can't,
5 were.
I almost could not even watch.
Yeah,
I
that
know.
was.
It was
so
it was
uncomfortable.
bad.
The first 5 episodes, everything was creepy. The butcher was creepy.
Yeah,
the
it was
hillbillies
all
were creepy.
creepy.
I
And
still
then the
had
next
some
4,
chills.
they
Oh, yeah.
were. Everything was
Scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, downright terrifying.
It was more comforting though that it was like Francis Conroy and Chaz Bono in the reenactment.
Oh, yeah.
And then when it wasn't, when it was the real thing happening, I didn't know those people. They were just creepy.
Yeah.
So give me those other people I know.
Francis Conroy wasn't in it enough.
Well, you know,
At least she was in it.
I
Yeah.
know.
I did not like this season.
What?
I found it to be very dull, and
I can agree with the first 5 seasons comparatively. First 5 episodes compared to the first 5 seasons
They're slower.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
are slower. I agree with that.
well, yeah. To me, it was very derivative of season 1. Okay, we put all our money in this house, and now we're trapped here, and we can't leave. And, blah, blah, blah. And weird people are coming, and there's dead people from all different eras of time that just trapped in this house, and here they come.
Oh, that
and,
was more like Asylum. Oh, no, it was Murder House, too.
It was.
It wasn't
Yeah.
all of them.
And I'm like, come on now, just leave. Like seriously,
And
you
this is-
only spent $40,000. Okay.
But it was their life savings.
It was
Sarah.
all their
Oh,
money.
great.
There was no
And then
house.
this-
Get a mortgage somewhere
And
else.
they can't-
They spent $25,000 more trying to get a psychic to find Flora.
Yeah.
Lee spends the
They
money on
didn't. That was their money.
But they can't just
They didn't explain
buy a
who-
new
where she
house
got
when
that
you don't
money
have
from.
money. Then you have 2 mortgages because nobody would buy that. That bitch is haunted.
The hillbillies would have bought it for $20,000.
Abandon
yeah,
that
except for-
sucker.
I
Go
will
get a
say-
job and live with your parents till you can buy another house. I don't think it's that hard.
I will agree with you that they just said we can't move because we'd lose all our money, as opposed to, well, it's on the market. Like, why couldn't they put it on the market? That's what I don't understand.
Yeah.
And like, it's not selling and have that conversation,
No.
as opposed to,
'Cause
oh,
they
we're just not
bought-
going to get
They
any.
bought it at auction. It would have had to go back to auction. They probably wouldn't even make $40,000 because they were all so gung ho for the house. They just blew all their $40,000, and the hillbillies weren't.
I still think
willing
they
to
could
do
have at
that.
least tried, and it would have been more
I-
believable. I also have to say that this is a common horror movie trope that
You're doing what she said you were going to do.
I know, but it's just one of those
I
things.
legit don't think I finished the sentence. Yeah, that's fine. You just go, Nick.
Well, it was to. I interrupted to defend you.
Oh,
Okay. Well,
Right? Didn't I?
thank you.
That's. I think
So if
that I
they're-
thought they should have put the house up for sale at least instead of giving up.
Yeah.
Okay, so then also maybe don't bring your child into the house, Lee.
Well, she's a drunk. You I mean, that was.
She was a
very clear.
desperate addict that resorted
and
to
she
murder.
made really poor choices in her life.
Agree.
All of
Generally
her
speaking.
all of her I think all of her choices in general, the whole
Pretty
time,
bad.
are bad.
So
Yeah.
if that's your argument that like okay they didn't know it was real because then they just thought it was the Pogues and blah blah, I can get past all that. But then don't go back for don't go back for season 2. You're just stupid, and I don't care. There is nothing you can say that will justify it to me. Nothing.
I agree, and I agree with Lily Rabe's character. I don't think it was strong enough. That was the only way to get
Agreed.
into a room with her husband. I get Matt going back, and then all the actors I get going back.
Yeah,
Because
because
they
they didn't
didn't
know.
know.
I don't
And they were all
understand
looking
Lee
for
going
money.
back.
She wanted to clear her name and prove that
Okay,
she didn't murder Mason, but yeah, you did murder him, so just let well enough alone, lady.
Yeah.
Well, again, poor choices.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's just hard for me to want them to live then. And I'm a pretty nice person. I don't think people should be murdered. But when people are acting this dumb, I'm just like, I don't even care.
Yeah.
And somebody made the point for the first 5 seasons in something I read that
Seasons or
said...
episodes?
Episodes, sorry. The first 5 episodes that, like, we saw them reenacting it. They were giving interviews. So it didn't really have a lot of dramatic tension. We knew they were going to live through it.
well, I felt that, but I also felt, here's Flora. Does she die or does she live? Like, we did not know. And then maybe
And
that
all
wasn't
the-
enough, but...
all the people coming, the nurses that that are killing people. We've got Evan Peters. We've got all the ghosty ghosts coming back, and they're telling us about them. There wouldn't be a reenactment without them telling the documentary, whatever you want.
And Dennis O'Hare in the medium. Like, we had people that raised the stakes that you basically knew were going to die, except Lee's daughter. You had no idea, which I had a good idea she wasn't going to.
I just didn't need any of it. I don't think it was a strong theme for me. It was just like Murder House Part 2 for me, honestly. And I was like...
The weird thing is, I think a lot of people who liked it, it's because a lot of people say Murder House is the best season.
Oh, okay, most of you liked it. I didn't like it. That was that.
I don't think it was most of us. I think it was all
All
of
of
us. Except for you.
But that's okay.
I just...
You liked this more than Hotel.
Did you?
I'm not going to say yet.
Okay.
That's
We're not
another
there.
question.
You know what though? When I started watching it, and I knew that I liked it, that I was going to like it, and that I was liking it so much, I had a feeling that Sarah was going to hate it. Because Sarah and I are usually...
We don't agree.
We don't agree. There are very few things that we actually agree on.
And that's when Callie's like, you gotta watch My Super Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. I still haven't watched that, Callie, because I don't think that I'm gonna like it. Like, you're true. It's true.
It's true. I'm like, this is awesome. I love this. Sarah's like, I really hate
I'm like,
that. I hate every part of it.
And again, Sarah doesn't like gore, so this
Right.
season should
It
have
was
been
very
right up
high
your
gore.
alley, I feel like.
It should have been. The first 5
Weird.
seasons, I was not scared.
She
Episodes.
doesn't like
Episodes.
gore, and you think this one would
Because
be
that's
ever?
how-
I thought this
Yeah.
season she would have enjoyed more because there was less gore and 50% of it.
I
But
got
there's still more gore than the
Than
first
most.
2 seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really? More
Yeah.
than
Asylum, and Murder House.
I
yeah.
feel like in Asylum's the most unsettling for me.
It's
And
disturbing.
maybe because
but
gore
the
doesn't
gore-
really bother me, but it's claustrophobic, being accused of being crazy.
Well,
I think
yeah.
that was the scarier
In
one.
Asylum, it's all suggested gore. Like you see blood spatters, you don't know, and you
Actually,
see
see
Yeah, that's true.
a
That's
butcher
true.
slice somebody's.
they
I-
stepped
yeah.
up the gore with the racist lady in Coven, Kathy Bates in Coven.
the first
Bates is
5
crazy.
episodes, I think I was just a little bored almost. I was like, we've done this before. Why are we here? And then the last ones, I was like, I was so angry that they would go back there that I just couldn't engage in it.
She was.
I really was. I was like, you deserve it.
She had a triple screen experience going on.
I was playing Wheel of Fortune the whole time. On my iPad, I just could not. I was like, oh man. One of the things that this season had, it had some like subplot points, like interracial marriage, substance abuse, society's obsession with social media, reality television.
Yep.
Did any of you care about any of that? Did it work for you? Did it enhance this season for you, or were you like, oh, it was fine?
I think the interracial marriage part helped me stay on the couple's side for staying. They wanted to, this shouldn't be going on, and I'm not going to back away from it. From thinking the Polks were racist and the cops who didn't seem to care. Like, that helped me understand, not help me understand, but justify them staying in this place that is scary as hell. At least for the first couple episodes. The social media thing.
Well, especially, I know Kylie in particular does not care for reality television.
I do not. So I actually liked that spin on it. I thought they were doing sort of a Scream skewer with it, in that vein where they were trying to make a joke out of it in a way that we would all laugh at, but at the same time it was underhanded enough that if you really loved reality TV and you didn't realize that's what they were doing, you wouldn't have been offended. The interracial marriage piece, while it was there, I didn't actually think of it in terms of motivating the story. I thought it worked, like Nick's saying, but they didn't make a lot of it, and I'm actually happy about that. I'm glad it wasn't, oh, this is an interracial marriage piece.
I I think it'd be more powerful if she made the confession after she was resolved that it was over, which I feel like we saw that moment when she decided to take the cocaine, that we didn't see that before. She wanted that phone back so much that once she finally felt like she was going to survive, it felt like, why would she have even confessed?
Yeah.
I would buy her confessing more after, like if she was on drugs. Not just because she was on drugs, but because we saw that moment of her realizing we're not going to survive this.
Right. Yes. I can feel that.
I can see that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I forgot when she kept saying she needed to go back. I forgot that she confessed to Mason's murder. I'm like, really? You're going to go back there, lady, because you killed the Polks? They were pretty evil. Like, I think we can get over it.
Okay.
They were cutting your body off you. But then I forgot that she had said that thing to her daughter, which, okay, on my deathbed, to my children, I'm probably not going to confess murder. There, I said it.
Yeah.
I have not murdered anyone.
It was a poor, again, with her life decisions, very poor at that moment.
Which
Poor life
strange.
decisions.
Which they set up.
Just wait till we get to the last episode. I've got rants.
Oh, good. we will get there, for sure.
It was a weird turn when it was like, oh, this whole season's about Lee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she was not the...
Point.
Was she introduced in the first episode?
As the Angela Bassett. Well, she was in the...
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because it was a while, at least a while in the first episode
Yeah,
where she
it was like
before she comes to the house.
halfway
Yeah.
through.
So it really didn't... It seemed like we were following this couple, and then
Right.
really, as time went on, like, this is Lee's season, really.
Well, one of the next things that we were going to talk about is the format. So one of the surprise flips was the first 5 episodes were My Roanoke Nightmare. Then the next 4 were Return to Roanoke, 3 Days in Hell, which is the reality sort of thing. And then the last episode was an epilogue of sorts, which is kind of a format that they've used before. They did it definitely in season 2
And 3.
and 3.
Didn't they do it in 4?
They didn't have an epilogue in for it.
No.
Well, they went
Four
forward
just
into the future quite a ways, but it wasn't
A little
really
bit.
like
Yeah.
It was like the last 10 minutes, sort of a montage kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then they sort of almost did it in season 5 because we got to see them later.
They did have an
Yeah.
epilogue in post.
So this is kind
But-
of a familiar concept.
We've had 2 final episodes ending with an interview on TV up until this season. That was almost from season 2 and season 3 to be like, really? We're doing a live interview with Sarah Paulson to end the season? And then they kind of did that again in this one.
So how did you guys feel about that format? Like, I know Kylie in particular, because Kylie and I chatted a little yesterday. Sorry, we cheated. Because I had only, up until yesterday, seen through through episode 5, and Kylie's like, you gotta wait, it's gonna get different, and whatever.
Well, part of me encouraging you to finish it was we only had 3 or 2 episodes when you're like, I don't know, and I felt like, well, the last one will be easy for you to watch because it won't be gory. It'll be probably an interview.
Yeah. Well, what do you guys think about that? Do you like that? Do you need that? Or do you wish that they would just
I don't know how
not wrap it up in a neat bow?
I don't know how else they can end
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel like an episode of the same series.
Does it always feel like that to you, or is it just?
It
with
felt like
this
that
one?
for season 3. It felt like that for season
It feels
2.
like this all the time for me too. But how are you supposed to, especially when you're limited to X amount, like 10 episodes? How do you end this?
Well, what I'll say is there's usually a lot of characters and a lot of storylines because there's more episodes,
Right.
and I feel like even when some of them don't get wrapped up well. Whereas this, with fewer episodes, and we're spending, even though we have like 6 main cast members, they're playing the same part because you have the interview aspect.
Right.
That I felt like this season probably needed less than the other ones because we had fewer stories to like wrap up.
And plus, everybody was pretty much dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone was dead but Lee.
Yeah. So here's what I would say.
Well, and also Dennis
Dennis
Yeah.
O'Hare. I almost said Dennis Leary. He was not in this. Dennis
O'Hare.
O'Hare
Same
was
time.
alive too. So
Yes.
they were the
Well-
only 2.
Well, really, if you're going to count actors from the reenactment, there were a lot of other ones.
Yeah,
I mean, there were all the Polk people,
Yeah.
the Lady Gaga.
Okay.
Nothing happened to them either.
Right.
Dennis O'Hare is the only one they brought back in the last one just to kind of see where he was.
Got it.
Whereas they brought, I keep wanting to call him Cricket. Who was the medium?
Yeah.
Ashley playing cricket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His name was Cricket?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I watched too much Always Sunny in
The
Philadelphia.
actor, somebody, I don't know his real name in real life, was playing Ashley,
I
who
can't
was
think
playing
of it.
cricket.
6 through 9 were absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
I
I
actually
agree with that.
went whoa and yikes and a bunch of other stuff.
Yep.
And because it's usually is horrible, scary things are happening to this character as well. We cut to exposition for this storyline. But this was, once we were in it, it was...
We were.
Those 3 episodes were the 3 nights of hell.
Yeah.
Like, it was nonstop.
Yes.
And you never knew who was safe and who was surviving.
And what was real and what was not. But episode 10 felt to me so out of place. Like, why... First of all, we were watching 2 courtroom dramas, or they hinted at the first one and we watched the second one of the lead character. She gets acquitted. Spoilers, she gets acquitted both times, and then stupidly comes on the interview. Like, why are we watching this interview? And the lame reason she gives is, I just want to tell Flora that I love her. And I thought this was really just a setup so that the real Lot Polk could come on and try to shoot her. Mm-hmm. And it just felt so forced by that point that I was like, this is kind of stupid. Like, I don't get...
Yeah.
But it was also continuing... Everything we saw in all 10 episodes was viewed through a different camera. Like, everything was interview, news, courtroom reporters, reality stars coming back to the house. Mm-hmm. So, the first 5 episodes being season 1 and the next 4 being season 2, those being over, would it have been too much if it was just now we're watching it without... We could have gotten all that stuff without it being through...
The way that it was set up.
Through fake TV cameras, through reality TV and interviews.
Oh, I get what you're saying. That was kind of clever to do it that way.
She likes the season. Like, they committed to... Everything we watched are through the eyes of a different show's camera.
Yeah, I didn't
Atlanta's interview, Access Hollywood, all that stuff.
Yeah, and I totally understand that and get that. I just thought that
was the biggest reach.
It was the biggest reach. It was kind of a letdown after the harried 6 through 9. And a horror movie trope would be everybody dies and you don't know what really happens to the main character, which they didn't leave with Lee. They kind of did their own thing, and I think it was so they could marry the other seasons. I just don't think it was as successful, and I thought to myself, whatever. It wasn't as bad as others.
What was the end?
What was the end?
Look, Lee.
It was Lee making a sacrifice for her
daughter. Grab your kid by the arm and haul her out that house. You don't got to die and take care of some ghost kid. Get your kid off the property into the safety of the police. I'm sorry. I just don't.
I think she did that, though, because Flora recognized and knew that she killed her dad and was never gonna... She was scarred for life.
I also feel like all of her bad decisions, all of her decisions were decisions she made in her mind to be a good parent to Flora, but were, in actuality, very selfish. Because maybe the best thing for Flora was to not be with her mom while she was recovering. But that last one was... supposed to be. I think at least the creators of the show were making, here's her sacrificing herself for the daughter, making a selfless choice. Whether it was a good one or a bad one, maybe the good parent would have. I don't know, but Flora, the reason she was there in the end is because she went back to it on her own. Like, she wasn't taken, she didn't disappear.
Right.
Flora?
Flora.
I keep wanting to say floral.
That part I actually liked. And I wish
she went back to the house on her own?
That Lee ended up there and then sacrificed herself.
I think you were saying you didn't like it.
It could have been done. See, now that you like it, it could have been done without all the
stuff in the
middle. The stuff in the middle. But Sarah didn't like that.
Wasn't she traumatized, that little girl? She was there. They were going to kill her. And then she wanted to go back there? It just doesn't make sense.
Maybe she was
Priscilla. She was friends with the little ghost, Priscilla.
And she wanted to save Priscilla and protect her from the butcher.
I'm friends with all of you, but... I don't know. I'm not. It's not going to happen. And there are many, many people on this show. Some are returners. Some were special guests, so I'm calling them cameos on here. Some were the usual players. Some were new people. So who did you like? Who did you not like?
I feel like I'm talking a lot, but I've noticed that I didn't mind Jessica Lange not being in it.
Like, I didn't either.
Yeah, it wasn't something that offended me. I love Jessica Lange so much. She's one of my favorites, but I think in the seasons where Jessica Lange and Kathy Bates are both in it, got to be almost a little competitive.
A little diva off a little bit.
Yeah, so it was kind of nice because I'm also a huge Kathy Bates fan. So it's kind of nice to see her really have this big moment for herself because, like you said, it kind of came off as a bit of a diva off sometimes. Like in both of their contracts, they had so much time they had to be on screen, and so That's just kind of what it felt like to me. So I didn't mind Jessica Lange not being there, but it wasn't because I don't like her. It's just because it was nice to have one and not the other. Just to have one.
And I feel like we're not, as they tie in other seasons, we're not going to miss her characters because they were so prominent in each season. Like, the tie-ins we're getting are from secondary, except for, I guess, Lana was a huge part of season 2.
Yeah.
They just do some really good casting.
Yeah.
Oh,
And it's hard to miss anyone who isn't there. Like, Frances Conroy is one of my favorites. Her not being in a hotel, I almost barely noticed because there's such other good cast members.
I pretty much never have actor complaints.
Yeah.
What about Lady Gaga in season 5 from the Newbies?
Oh, I really didn't hate her.
I did not like her at first, and then as it progressed, I felt like I don't think she got better. I think maybe she did get better. Maybe she just wasn't used to it, and she got better. But I feel like she started to grow on me, maybe, and then by the end, I liked her.
Yeah.
I didn't like her at first at all, though.
Yeah. I think they used the main cast brilliantly again.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And even the new players, like Andre Holland, who played Matt, was really awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Cuba, y'all.
Yeah.
Here, you're gonna maybe hate, but wait till I finish this sentence.
Show
I
me
was
the
so
money.
confused by Cuba. Nick was like, "Get over it." I was like, "Why is Cuba Gooding Jr. there? Why is he in this? He's too big a star. He's got an Oscar." And Nick was like, "So does Jessica Lange, and so does
Kathy Bates.
and
Angela
probably
Bassett.
Angela Bassett." And I'm like, I still don't get it. Where did he come from? And then I realized he came from The People versus O.J. Simpson, which is another Ryan Murphy show. And I'm like, oh, okay, I get it now. He just kind of slid over here.
Yep.
Fine.
Yeah.
But it really, I was so confused by it, and I don't know why. He was doing great. I didn't have a problem with it. I just was like, what? Could he not get another job?
You thought he was too big of a star.
I kind of did, and I couldn't.
That's funny.
Get my
You have
head
some
around it.
old Hollywood prejudices about television versus movies.
I just hadn't seen him in a while, and I was like, where was he?
It was a surprise
And
for
both,
me too.
and then also
they didn't announce it either.
I don't know. Glee fans, did you notice Jacob Artist? I don't know how he says his last name. From Glee was there.
Which one was he?
Puck's brother.
Puck's brother.
Oh, yeah.
He was one of the blogcasters.
Did he get?
Yes.
He's the one who got killed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, they all
Milo.
did.
Well, the first one. Sorry,
Yeah.
the first one that got killed.
Yeah.
So I was like, all those were burned at the stake. He was.
They do all die. Everyone dies.
They really
Yeah.
do.
So
All
the
die.
other thing I would say is, I don't know if you all noticed this or were keeping track, but they did manage to bring back every American Horror Story player except Jessica Lange. They all just had bit parts.
Yeah.
Ken Whitrock was Jethro Polk.
Yeah.
And if I did not know he was going to be in that episode, I would not have noticed because they really didn't focus in on his face very much.
No, I did notice though, like snippets. I was like,
Yeah.
you know, like, as you start to recognize
because
them.
I
And
watched
Thaisa Farmiga was the girl in the little
Yep.
Blair
Yeah.
Witchers.
Well, I watched this season with Kobe, and most of you are familiar with Kobe, and so we were watching, we're like, where's Finn Wittrock? Where is he? And so then, like, when we saw him, we're like, what? No, that's it!
You know who I missed, and I discovered it today? It was Matt Bomer.
Oh, yeah.
He's in it. He is the host of Cracked, that reality... where they're saying she was on Cracked because she cracked up. I would not have known it if I hadn't used the internet because I don't know if you saw him or if he just did a voiceover.
I think he
on
just
it.
did a voiceover.
So he appeared there, but they also were rumored that Emma Roberts was going to make an appearance, and they couldn't fit it in the schedule. So
She was Scream Queening.
she was. So she wasn't there. I mean, there's some other people that were
Lady
not there.
Gaga really wasn't in it. Like,
Who?
Lady Gaga had a very
Very
small
small.
part.
She was
Like, how many words did she even say?
Nothing in English.
She said nothing in English.
Which they easily could have done a lot with her because she was the actress playing the Witch of the Woods. The Blair Witch of the Woods.
I
My
thought it
guess
was
was-
brilliant that she played this witch and looked completely different, acted
Yeah.
completely different.
Yeah, yes.
I got a little more respect for her, I'm going to say.
I would agree with that.
My
It's kind
respect
of,
for her has just exponentially grown.
I was waiting for Emma Roberts to be the actual Witch of the Woods, so that Lady Gaga was playing that, but
That's what
She didn't
Kobe
make it.
and I were saying too. We're like, I bet Emma Roberts is going to be the real Witch of the Woods, and then
and you really don't see the real witch's face.
No,
Oh,
no.
no. Well, Nick made a good point at the beginning when they were doing the what?
You said he made a good point. He always has to acknowledge that when that happens.
Very praised. Well, here's some more praise. Nick made a good point at the beginning when they were just doing the interviews. He's like, "Oh, I love Lily Rabe. Is she just going to be sitting there talking for this entire series, like, or is she going to get to do more?" So at the beginning, was anyone concerned, like, "Oh, Lily is very underused," and Adina and the other guy?
I was nervous about it because in other seasons she's not always in them a lot.
Yeah. Or
See,
she gets killed off pretty early sometimes.
I was concerned because the other like real life people were more like unknown actors, and Lily Rabe was the only one that we had seen before that was recognizable, and so that was where I was a little confused at first. I was like, okay, this is interesting, because then we see all of the reenactors, and these are all people we know really well and we've seen in all these past seasons, so that was kind of where I got a little confused, but then towards the end, like,
I agree with that. Even though we looked up, we're saying how Sarah and I were talking how the interviewers were doing a really good job, though, though. So we looked up the actress who played Lee, and she is in season 1.
Yeah.
She's one of Dylan McDermott's patients.
She's Sally.
Okay.
Yeah,
and I think she kills
She's a character
herself.
actress. She does a lot. She was on True Blood.
Yeah. I really enjoyed her, and I want to give her the Sarah. I won't say my last name. The Sarah standout performance of the season. I really liked her.
I loved all of them. I mean, just sitting there talking to a camera with, I don't know, I feel like when you're like playing a part that's playing a real person, I don't know. You know what I mean?
It's hard to make it real.
Yes, it's hard to make it believable and hard to be a good
when you're
actor
and
when
your
you're
scene
sitting
partner's a camera.
Which is why I wasn't concerned with the Lily Rabe placement. I knew they were setting her up for something.
Yeah, exactly.
Because she can play self-effacing, like Misty, for example. Mm-hmm. She can play self-effacing, then turn it on a dime in an instant.
And then Adina did all that work
The
with
Nun in Asylum.
Finn Wittrock, where he's like, they're cutting her. Oh my gosh! She played that whole thing. I just want to barf. She did awesome. I think. And then when she was possessed, I really enjoyed her so much.
She's a great character actress that she really does crop up on a lot. She was on the 100 for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, she's been on a lot of stuff.
I also enjoyed Evan Peters, but I always enjoyed
I
him.
could have used more.
Yeah.
Peters. He really wasn't there that much if you think about it.
He wasn't. He was later in the reenactment part, and then
and you
kind of knew Roy would be the first to die because he wasn't even invited on.
I think it kind of works so that he does heavy lifting 1 or 2 and then takes us, because he wasn't very big in Coven either.
No. He didn't talk in Coven.
No. But he was all up in Murder House, all up in Asylum. Coven took a break.
Yep.
All up in Freak Show, all up in Hotel.
Roanoke
kind of took a break.
Yeah. So. I really enjoy. I agree with that, Sarah. I enjoy him as well.
I think he's very talented.
He is very talented.
I like him in everything.
Me too.
I repeat that he's very Johnny Depp-like to me. He's kind of eccentric, but a chameleon. He can do a lot of different stuff. He's got a striking look that some people think is handsome or cute or whatever.
Yeah, I agree. I see it.
I don't really care for Johnny Depp, but I will say he's...
I used to. That's a different podcast.
Yeah, that's a different podcast.
What podcast is that?
Not ours.
So,
it's a different one.
Is there anybody that you want to retire from this franchise?
Dylan McDermott, was he there?
No,
He's not been in all of them, though.
No.
He's just in the first 2. Really?
It doesn't have to be. It
could
just be anybody.
I like him.
Do we see Dylan McDermott briefly?
I didn't think
he did come to the hotel. Didn't he come to the hotel?
He did come to the hotel, you're right.
He did?
I think so.
As a guest.
Man, he's dreamy. I enjoy him.
Yeah, I would mind him coming back. There's my answer.
You know who I want to come back, just because she's only in season 1? The main actress.
Well, that is on my list, and you keep
Connie Britton.
Yep, Connie Britton.
She's busy on Nashville.
Yep.
Took the wind out of my sails. I was going to say Connie Britton, but Nick had to...
You asked if there was anyone else!
I said Jamie Brewer because I like her.
I
do like her a lot.
She hasn't been on since Freak Show.
Yeah.
Which isn't that long ago.
No.
And they do, they rotate. Like, I want more Dennis O'Hare, but I also like... He had a lot to do in Hotel, and it was awesome.
He was so
It was
fantastic
amazing in Hotel. He was
really
decent features.
I really like Sarah Paulson, but I don't need quite as much her. I mean,
You're a little
she was
over?
Lana. Audrey was
Over?
one of the main things, and then she was the reenactment shop. And that
Yeah.
was pretty big.
It's true, but I found the switch to Audrey to be hilarious and delightful.
Yes, I do.
You
Because
laughed
I
out
love
loud
how
at
she
one of her lines.
affected that accent, and
Oh,
everything
yeah.
was about.
It was very
I know
well
her
written.
better than she
I
does.
just, I'm just saying next season, if she had a smaller role, I would be okay with that to see some of the other people.
Especially
come out
because
a
it's
little bit.
mainly her characters coming back in a big way. Like
Yeah.
Hotel, it was one of
She's
her
the
characters.
connection. It's her.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
just
she-
Sarah Paulson.
It's just Sarah Paulson.
And then in Freak Show, she had
It's
two
just
heads.
Like an hour, 12 episodes of an hour of just Sarah Paulson.
Yeah.
She's very talented.
She is.
really
I do
She's
agree with that,
fantastic.
though. I could use a little bit if she wanted to. If they wanted to tone it down a little bit.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind.
I wouldn't hate it.
It would be okay. She didn't have as huge a part in Hotel, but she played
No.
Billie Dean as well, so she got
Yeah.
to do.
Right.
separate
And she
things
didn't
with-
have as big a part in Murder House.
Murder
She's
House
been
is just
pretty
one
big.
episode, I
Yeah.
feel like.
Yeah, I think it was.
Man, I'd like Connie Britton to come. And she's off Nashville now, right? So come on, Connie.
Oh,
Is she?
American Horror Story Nashville.
That's weird.
Oh.
Yeah.
Grand Ole Opry gets haunted? I don't know things.
You'll know your place by not having a podcast.
Let's talk ranks.
Oh,
Here we
boy.
go. How does this season rank for you? Can you even rank it? Because I am the queen of the struggle bus with ranking. This just for the show.
Not prepared. I don't remember past ranking.
Well,
You don't have to have this
it
past
doesn't
one.
have to be exactly the same.
I'll start because I do remember mine. Previously, I ranked it thusly: Murder House, Coven, Freak Show, Asylum, Hotel. That's hard.
Was that just in order of them?
No.
You
Murder
Turn.
House, Freak Show.
Asylum and Hotel were at the bottom for
Okay.
me. And a lot of people like Asylum, so that's
Yeah.
kind of controversial. And I still feel that way. I liked Roanoke better than those two for sure. I feel like it's kind of slightly above Freak Show, which I also liked and a lot of people didn't like. Again, controversial. I still think Murder House is the best, and you can't really beat it. It set the stage. It was kind of perfection. I related to the story of Coven more. That one wasn't scary except for the Kathy Bates character. She freaked me the heck right out with her racistness. I enjoyed Freak Show quite a lot. Not all of it, though. There were ups and downs. Roanoke, to me, was a much tighter season. It was tighter than Freak Show, much tighter than Asylum by far. And then Hotels, to me, is kind of a hot mess. I don't like Hotel very much. I said that the last time. I didn't hate it, but it is my least favorite of all of them. So I put Roanoke at number 3, I think.
I can't right now.
Are they like babies to you?
Well, no, I just don't. Again, I usually watch them so far apart
Yeah.
that to really actually be. I mean, Murder House, of course, is my favorite. Is my top. I think it's probably everybody's. No. Oh, Sarah's shaking her
No,
head
she didn't.
The opposite of you, Kallie.
I would put Roanoke in my top 3. The rest, I haven't seen and so I'm pretty sure I remember not liking Coven very much.
Everybody looked at Sarah.
It's because she knows whatever I am saying. Sarah is going to say the exact opposite.
You're totally right.
I know. It's pretty. I'm telling you,
It's
it's with
uncanny.
everything.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
So yeah, I think that's about. Yeah. I'd say, yeah.
Well, where does Roanoke rank, at least generally, towards the top? Is it closer to
Top
Murder
3.
House?
I would put it in the top 3.
Okay. Is Hotel your least favorite? Since that should be more
What's your
recent
least
in
favorite?
your mind.
I would say it's probably Coven is my least favorite, or up there. Asylum has to be in the middle somewhere, closer to the least. The whole alien thing threw me.
Yes.
The what? That's why I
Alien.
don't like it. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
It had the biggest plot holes
Yes.
or loose ends.
And it had
Yes.
some
Weirdest
really,
ending?
some really
Yes.
great like acting and some really great stuff happening, but some
Yes.
really weird stuff.
My
Yes.
problem is, if this is American Horror Story and it's a horror show, the season that probably scared me the most or was the hardest to watch from the genre aspect is Asylum. Like, it
yeah,
had those moments for me, but it's not the best crafted.
yeah.
I was more scared of this season.
Yeah, I was.
Asylum didn't scare me. It was disturbing, but it didn't scare me.
Well, Nick, since you just said that, what's your ranking? Can you do it?
I don't
can you
know.
not?
I think Murder House is my favorite. I do remember liking Asylum more than you two when
Yeah.
we
You
did the
did.
rankings.
Yes.
And I think Hotel's my least favorite. It still is. Roanoke is in between.
I think
1 and
yours
5.
almost go in order.
I can't remember.
Murder
Freak Show and Asylum are
Asylum.
close together. I feel like Freak Show kind of has some plot holes for me, or characters that aren't tied up in either aren't tied up well, or ways that I specifically don't care for. Coven is the most different. I've talked about it's even shot so different. It's
beautiful.
bright, like there's bright colors associated with it, so it's hard.
Some really tour de force performances in that season.
Yeah,
That's why I put it up
really
a little
is.
higher.
So
Coven?
Coven.
Yeah.
Maybe I should watch it again.
It's our Angela Bassett's first
I just remember
season, and
it.
she's
And-
amazing.
and
in
Kathy
it.
Bates.
I remember not liking
Yeah.
it very
I
much.
hated it. I didn't even finish that. That's like one of the only seasons of American Horror Story I didn't finish because I was so bored.
But maybe that's why you don't like it.
It is
No,
good.
I definitely want to go back and rewatch
Maybe
all of them.
I'm gonna at some point when I have time
It's
go back
gonna
and
say
rewatch
it's
all
gonna
of them,
be in
but-
my summer list of I'm gonna go back and rewatch this because for me I can't even put them in an order yet. I can say that that Murder House is up there for me. I really liked Freak Show except for the ending of it. It just the way they
Everybody
tied it
died.
up was
Dandy kills
Oh,
everybody.
yeah.
Everybody died. The
I
ones
gotcha.
that didn't live happily ever after.
Clearly
Yeah,
did not
I-
make an impression of me. Aaron.
I hated the ending. I'm like, this has so much potential to go somewhere really, really cool, and then it was like, oh, okay, and just kind of fizzled out. But everything up until the end, I really, really liked.
They have trouble sticking the landing more often than not.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
and
what
it's
I
'cause-
noticed.
And this surprised me, but as we watch more seasons, it's less surprising that I felt like, especially because of Murder House, like Ryan Murphy has the whole season planned out, but
Maybe
the more
just
you
not
listen,
the last one.
the more you listen to him talk about production, is they're still getting the scripts. He's still writing the scripts after they start filming for
Yeah.
a season.
Yeah.
And I think that is obvious. I think most obvious in season 2 and 4.
It seems like he's
He's
got all
just-
of this
is he
potential and this
smoking up?
momentum, and then just loses the momentum
Well,
or loses the time to finish it. I don't know.
Yeah,
And
so
I think
it,
as
so
you
he
have-
quick finishes them and then they fall short.
And
Yeah.
maybe good actors is a problem when you introduce this character that's like an episode or two, and they do such a good job, you're like inspired to do more with it, but it's hard to finish all of
Yeah.
them. So you have Dandy murder everyone.
Right.
Yeah. But I would right now, because I'm gonna eventually go back and rewatch it, Coven's at the bottom for me. I really didn't like it. But I would say Roanoke is up there, like Kallie
Like
said,
it, yeah.
up in the top 3 because I loved the way the whole plot was constructed. I loved that it was kind of getting back to what I really loved about the first few seasons of American Horror Story. Minus Coven. Because, considering that I didn't like Hotel very much. That was another season that I was very excited for. I'm like, this is going to be really cool, and then wasn't as cool. So, yeah, that's where I stand right now. But I'm going to go back and rewatch it, and hopefully I'll have a better answer for the next one.
All right.
I'll also,
It can change. I feel like mine changes, but I have a really hard time nailing it down.
Yeah.
I feel like the finale of season 3 is harder for me as more seasons take place in the present. Because it ending with the whole world knowing that witches exist, and then season 5 barely mentioning it. We get a witch comes to the hotel, but that everyone knows that witches are around is not brought up at all. Like, the supernatural is real,
Right.
and everybody
Do you have
knows
a
it.
question relating to the speculating of season 7?
I do.
Okay, then. I shall refrain.
What's your ranking?
I think my ranking is going to be Coven is first. I believe Freak Show is second. That's what it ended up being to me, and maybe I was disappointed because I thought it was going to be Roanoke. Nick and Kylie and I kind of speculated about that. I was so psyched out of my mind that we were right, and then it just didn't live up to what I wanted it to be. I don't know.
As the speculation went on, Ryan Murphy gave the tidbit that it will connect strongly to the first one, and that's when it was basically narrowed down in the most fans' minds to Roanoke or the school with the mass shooting.
I already started this question, but Ryan Murphy said in season 7, everything's going to come together and explode. Okay, Ryan Murphy, we'd love to see that happen. So I said, what can this mean? How will it happen? And what would you like to see going forward?
One of the rumors is that it's going to be about the U.S. election from 2016.
I thought that was a confirmed rumor. From
I just
Ryan
got
Murphy.
chills.
Was it?
That gave me chills.
That scared you?
Yes, because what are they implying? That some kind of evil force?
I didn't hear.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I heard it as a rumor. Now Emily's saying that Ryan said
I-
just a rumor, not going to happen. Is that what he's saying?
No, I
she said
thought
confirmed.
he confirmed it.
Oh, yeah. Okay, then, yeah. So, I think that the witches piece is going to come back in a big way. I think that...
There's going to be a witch ban.
I think the vampire piece is going to come back in a big way.
And they're going to deport all the vampires.
Maybe the aliens will come back. We don't know.
I am
What
dizzy
the hell
right
are
now
those-
with excitement.
You're just hoping for a Hillary cameo.
Well, we would all like to see that.
Well, yeah,
I got
or
Doris
Bernie.
Kearns
But
Goodwin.
we can just get Kate McKinnon to come in and play
Yeah,
that.
that would be
No big
That would be an
so
acceptable
happy.
alternative.
And if
Or Amy
they had
Poehler.
Alec Baldwin playing Donald Trump, I would be.
But could we watch it with a straight face at that point?
I don't
Probably
know.
not.
Depends.
I don't have any real expectations, and I typically, with these seasons, I am pretty good at avoiding spoilers, so I've been pretty good at going in kind of blind. So I have no expectations. I'm just,
Callie's like, whatever.
I'm
Sorry.
surprised at how it was easy to avoid spoilers.
It was.
Because we just watched it. It's been done for a while now.
Well, I think they did the best, other than for the first season, I think they did the best marketing this one. Because they purposefully shielded everybody from it. And then as long as you stayed away from night of on social media, you were fine. Because there were people talking about it, but I just went, nope, close.
Yeah.
I'll say what I would like to see brought back
Yeah.
is way back from season 1. Connie Britton's kid?
Thaisa Farmiga's character, Violet?
No.
Oh.
Or
No,
the
the baby.
Yeah.
I think he's the Antichrist, and I think he's coming back too.
I would be so
long
happy
ago
if they
was that?
brought him back.
6 years ago.
Was the demon baby?
He's not
you're
Trump.
really
But at the
sick.
end of the at the end of the series,
That's
though,
where
he
I
was
was going.
5. He was 5 or 6. We saw him being
Oh yeah,
like,
that's right. I remember.
so.
Still not.
But- and
he might
also
come into
they-
his powers, Omen style.
So is he the Antichrist, right? That's what the season 1 hinted, was that he was supposed to be the Antichrist.
I think
they
that's a
showed
very
the Pope
strong-
holding
Yeah.
your box.
And
Yeah.
there's been at least one major horror movie homage in all of the seasons, so I think the Omen is Murder House. I really do.
Yeah.
Or / Rosemary's Baby.
Okay, so we're pretty open to different things happening.
I wonder if the reason 3 seasons were approved, and I don't know if they were announced, but they basically have release dates on IMDb.
Yeah, they renewed it's a definite
For 3.
renewal.
I
Definite
wonder
renewal.
if it's
Yeah.
going to be a 3-season build, and maybe there'll be shorter seasons, like there'll be 10 episodes, and maybe they'll all be connected, and maybe it'll be a culmination of them
Yeah.
all connecting, it blowing up.
Maybe he thought 7 was going to blow up because that's all he thought he had, and then got approved for 3. So maybe things won't blow up until 10.
Well, this is a quote from Ryan Murphy.
Oh,
good.
please
He
read.
says, the first 10 minutes of this season takes place in a very eerie, macabre way on election night, and there's something terrible that happens in the lives of our characters on election night as they're watching it all go down, the writer-producer tells E! News, which in itself was a horror story, so it's like a horror story upon a horror story.
Oh.
Uh-oh, it's Horrorception.
Oh,
So I wonder if it isn't about the election, but it's about people's lives since it, and
That's-
having horror elements.
Here's
Or
more.
maybe
Oh.
horror
More,
affecting
more.
the
Al-
election.
Although season 7 is all about the election, no actors will play competitors Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton. Instead, we'll see the politicians on television through the eyes of our characters. The upcoming installments don't have a theme name yet, a la Coven or Hotel, but the episodes will express all sides of the equation, Murphy assures.
Okay, well.
Okay.
That actually kind of tempered my excitement.
Me
just
too.
A little bit.
Me as well.
More is less.
But maybe I shouldn't have high expectations, and then I will not.
Well, and
Not be disappointed.
Yeah, I'm kind of like Kallie, though, when it comes to this show. Aside from maybe speculating on what's going to happen, I try not to walk in with expectations because that serves me the best. Because everybody lambasted Freak Show the entire time it was on the air, and I was like, oh God, this is going to be the worst season ever. And then I sat down to watch it, and I actually enjoyed it. So it was like,
We had
I'm
that
not
with-
listening to them anymore.
We had that with Iron Fist,
Don't
too.
listen.
Yes.
Don't listen to them. Don't listen to the people. Except
listen to us.
Don't listen to the people, listen to the couch potatoes.
I thought you were expressing like somebody's political opinion. Don't listen to the people. Listen to me.
We're the people.
We the people of Couch Potatoes Unite to form a more perfect podcast. Go. You're
What?
still looking at
Oh,
no
I
more
was
quotes?
still looking. No, that's all I have for right now.
Okay.
But a new little thing is that Billy Lord, aka
Carrie Fisher's
daughter,
Too
who
soon.
was also on Scream Queens,
Yes.
is jumping ship from Scream Queens
Because it got canceled.
because it's canceled, and she is now joining the cast of American Horror Story for season 7.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also confirmed that Sarah Paulson will not be playing Hillary Clinton.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
And also a logical leap to make.
Yes. It says that there will be at least 2 more seasons of Horror Story after season 7 wraps. It seems the politics-influenced arc is not the same as the secret season Murphy and a mystery writer have been working on for the past few years. Oh, so that's right. I've also heard talk about this other like mystery season that nobody knows anything about, and so that's not going to be season 7. It's going to be like season 8 or 9. It's
I
not
thought
going
that
to be
was Roanoke.
I thought it was
Question mark.
2, but that's not what it's saying here. It's not the same
Maybe
as the
it's
secret
season
season.
9,
Yeah.
and we were looking at the number wrong. This was all advertisement for that season.
Mind blown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sarah's mind is not.
No.
My mind cannot keep. I'm processing this, y'allsies. I mean,
Yeah, it says, it says, it seems this politics-influenced arc is not the same as the secret season Murphy and a mystery writer have been working on for the past few years, which the super producer teased in September 2016, long before the horror of the 2016 election. So we still have that experiment to look forward to.
Yikes.
I'm just confused. There is a secret season.
That is
But it's
not
not-
the
But
next
But
one.
it's not 7.
It's
So it
not
could be
7.
8 or 9 or a
Yes.
different one. Okay, they're not
Yes.
hiding it from me. I don't have to go find it.
It hasn't been released.
No, all right.
But before,
It's
I was
not
gonna say,
hidden like an Easter egg.
during season 7, 6, whichever one we just had, they were
6.
talking about there being like this other season that Ryan Murphy has been working on but hasn't done anything with yet. And so everybody thought, oh, it's going to be season 7, it's going to be season 7. But because it's been so public about how, like, what the next plot line is, it's not going to be season
Got it.
7.
Got
But
it.
it could be 8 or 9 or more.
I am
I know.
intrigued.
I am
Yeah.
He's doing pretty good. With Ryan Murphy doesn't have the greatest track record with shows. He's doing pretty well
Yeah.
running this one and changing it up and making us guess like
I was
this.
gonna say, I think that's why this is going so well. I think that's why like Glee didn't do so well is because it was so much the same thing over and over and over again. And then
Tech as well.
yeah, and we talked about this in the Glee podcast about how it was taking all these current political issues and these current issues and shoving it in your face. So that's why I'm really curious to see season 7, because that was one of the things that Ryan Murphy didn't do very well with Glee, that I'm very interested to see
This is a
how
good
he does
point.
it.
My excitement's tempered even
But
more.
he said it's
Emily.
through the eyes of the
But
character.
it's, yeah, it's not through...
It's not like going to be Trump's an alien or something.
Could be Trump's an alien. Maybe Trump's a vampire.
Yeah, there we go.
No, then he would live forever. Be the real horror.
She just did the Kermit the frogs from Muppets Take Manhattan. The ones ago.
I just watched that the other day.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
That was my last question, guys. So, anyone want to add anything else?
There's one thing that we didn't talk about
What-
that
what?
we need to talk about. That I just need to at least touch on. There was a little homage to Grand Rapids, Michigan, in season 6.
gross. Where? I didn't catch it. And I don't want it.
Shut up.
The 2 murdering nurses that happened in Grand Rapids, Michigan. My grandma worked with those nurses and drove one of them home every night from work at a nursing home, at like the Walker Nursing Home or something like that.
No.
Get
Yeah,
out of our house.
if you Google it, It's a real thing. It happened in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and I'm surprised that none of you picked up on
No!
Well, I'm
I
not
didn't
from
know
here,
that.
but the rest of
Yeah.
you should be ashamed.
right?
Awesome.
Bonus
tidbit.
episode interviewing your grandma.
Right?
I would be open to this.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah,
crazy.
no, so that was a thing, and when they did that on the episode, I was like, wait, I know about this, and so yeah, then I called my mom, like, Mom, you gotta hear this. She was really cool.
Homages to both my
Weirdly-
hometowns.
weirdly,
H.H.
one of
Holmes
them-
and now this.
Is in the Women's Huron Valley Correctional Facility in Pittsfield Charter Township, Michigan. Where that be? I don't
That's
know.
no
here.
idea.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the other one is in Florida, in the Federal Correctional Institution.
Whoa, she got bumped up to the feds, huh?
She's in minimum security in Tallahassee.
Oh.
She's expected to be
Minimum?
released on June 6, 2021. I will not be
Well,
leaving my
Huron
house.
Valley, I think, is minimum, too.
It doesn't say, but she is serving 5 life sentences.
Yeah.
Oh.
They were arrested, and then one of them
Because they
plea
murdered 5
bargained
people.
to a reduced sentence, claiming that the other one planned it, and she served as a lookout.
Yeah.
Well, geez, they
Okay.
didn't love each other forever,
No.
did they?
No.
Not through thick and thin there.
The other one was like, you under
Oh,
the bus.
crazy.
Please.
Well, one of them fled the state and was in Texas at the time, so that's why she was in
federal
Florida.
one,
She's in
yeah.
federal prison.
That's amazing. Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good job.
My mind is now blown again.
Yeah.
Yes, and it even talks about that on Wikipedia that it was American.
Featured in American Horror
Emily, nice job.
Thanks.
Good research. And she's connected to it.
Yeah.
Oh my god. That means we're 3 degrees of separation from these serial
From
killers.
murderers, yeah.
And 4 from the ghosts, if there are any. No offense
Dun, dun,
meant to the
dun.
deceased. I'm sure you're all resting in peace, and I hope you are.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with that.
So, on that note, at this point, I would like to read our conclusory statement, which goes like this. CPU is produced by Back Pocket Productions, run by yours truly, the Chief Couch Potato, and hails from Grand Rapids, Michigan, like we
Murder
just
Town,
said.
USA.
Apparently. Please, if you like what you hear, take the time to rate us on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, or Google Play. Give us some stars. That's what that means. Or, you can comment, leave us a review. That lets people know that we're out there, and we want to spread that word because we like what we do, and we hope you will too. If you have suggestions or shows we might consider, contact us at our website, couchpotatoesunite.wordpress.com, via email at couchpotatoesunitepodcast@gmail.com, or via Facebook and Twitter, though we're adding new and old shows to chat about around the water cooler all the time, as I've said. We have several more new episodes coming down the pike. We're available and searchable via the web. Make sure you subscribe to the blog, the channels, the social media accounts, and stay up on new events and episodes. Until the next time, American Horror Story Season 7 will no doubt premiere in the fall, and we will reconvene as a panel sometime after that. American Horror Story is streamable on Netflix if you want to catch up, although Season 6 currently is not. So you're just going to have to wait. For now, until our next episode, keep listening, keep watching, stay tuned. Bye.